Live on YouTube.
Sorry, the committee, please let me know when all participants are already in the Zoom. Thank you. Balikpapan, are you there? Balikpapan, are you there? Am I audible? I can hear your voice. I can hear your voice, Balikpapan.
Ready, check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do you read? Visual kita.
Mana visual kita? Kita nggak ada gambarnya.
My glasses.
Jakarta, are you there? Jakarta, can you rename your name of your Zoom with Iatca branch of Jakarta?
Yang mikrofon ini.
USB coba.
Community check. We will check our own system. Am I audible?
Yes, Balikpapan, you're audible, but can you make it louder, please?
Check now. How about now?
Yeah, I think it's enough.
Testing. Can you hear it clearly?
It's not quite clearly, but it's okay. How about the others?
I think it's better than before.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Ayan.
Jakarta, can you open your camera? Okay.
Yes, how do you rate me? Mas Pipin?
Yes, you are audible. Good.
Thank you. Sí, pues Balikpapan kurang audible kalau tadi.
Okay, 5 minutes left. Are you ready, guys? Balikpapan, can you turn on your microphone? Balikpapan? It seems you have you need operator, I think, Balikpapan.
Sorry, sir.
We are ready, sir.
Okay. Okay, both Balikpapan and Jakarta. Thank you. You are both audible. Okay, thank you. Okay, guys. Good morning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Iatca English debate competition. Now we are entering the semi-final phase, which will be followed by Iatca branch of Jakarta against Iatca branch of Balikpapan. And with the entitled of motion, an aptitude test is required in order to get admission in ATC training. Okay, before we start for the debate competition today, I'd like to give the time for the timekeeper to decide who is the government team and who will be the opposition team. Now, time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pipin, for the time. Okay, let me show you about the position which become the pros at this moment. So, okay, could you see our lucky well? Okay, Balikpapan as the pros.
Okay,
for
thank
the
you
Vodafone,
very
is
much.
yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Timekeeper, Mr. Ares. And okay, guys, now you have the result of the lucky wheel that Balikpapan as a pro and Jakarta as a cons. Okay, before we start for the debate competition today, I'd like to introduce myself and also the participant of this Iatca debate competition today. And my name is Pipin Ukirianto. I'm your moderator for this debate today. And I'm supported by several persons. And the host, Mr. Gilang. Hello, Mr. Gilang.
Good morning, Mas Pipin.
Good morning. And the timekeeper, Mr. Ares. Good morning, Mr. Ares.
Morning.
Morning. And of course, the adjudicators. The first one is Bachelor of Science and Master of Public Policy, Mrs. Feranti from Ernaf, Indonesia. Hello, Mrs. Feranti.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And the second one is, yes, Bachelor of Science and Master of Arts, and also Master Safety Management in Aviation, Mrs. Dwi Lestari from Indonesian Aviation Academy. Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for coming. And the last one is Naina, that's from Mongolia. How do you do?
Hello, everyone. Good to see you here, everyone. And thank you for inviting me here today. And good luck to the teams and enjoy the debate. Even though it's in a competition, I wish you a very good luck of the debate and enjoy your time here.
Okay, thank you, Miss Naina. On behalf of Indonesian Air Traffic Control and the Chief, I'd like to say thank you for you that you can join to our debate competition today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys. There's the concept of debate. It uses ASEAN parliamentary, in which consists of two teams, where one team acts as a government or pros, and the other as opposition or cons. And the basic rule is each participant has their own rule, except the team with only two people in one team. And luckily, both of you are complete team. It's so wonderful. Then there will be one person. Sorry, the debate will start it and end it by the motion support team. And about the basic rule of this debate, number one is member will deliver a substantive speech of 7-minute duration and edit 20 seconds. So every single member of the team has 7 minutes to convey the speech. Except the closing statement will be given only 4 minutes for each team. And number two, POIs can be offered during the 2nd to 6th minute of substantive speech only. After the first single bit after the timekeeper show you the paper. POIs may not be offered during the first minute or after the speech ends. If this occurs, the speaker may decline the offered POI. Number three, POI must be shown by a member the opposing team by, number one, a member offering a POI can attract attention by saying, on that point, ma'am, or on that point, sir. No POI, no, but on that point, sir, or on that point, ma'am. And number two, write clearly on paper that stated POI and then show it to the camera. And both of you may accept or reject the POI by verbal statement or gesture. Number four, POIs are accepted, the point of which should be expressed as a question, clarification, or comment, and ideally made no longer than 30 seconds. Number five, once a POI has been offered, no further clarification may be requested, either by the speaker or the opposing member offering the POI, except in situation where the POI is clearly not here, and therefore repetition of the same is required. Number six, the use of POI that is unreasonable and not in accordance with the provision can be marked that is under manner. So, Mr. Timekeeper will given you the following way about the signal. The one is the end of the 2nd minute. That's one. So the timekeeper will show you the slide. And number two, end of 6 minutes. One last minute. And then number three is end of the 7 minutes. That's all. Thank you. And please highlight these sentences. Speaker who continue after the grace period can be given a penalty by the jury in the form of a reduction in value. Number two, if the speaker ends his speech before the time showing by the timekeeper has ended, the jury can also give a penalty on the assumption that the material presented is less matter or under develop. Okay, thank you. That's the basic rule of this debate competition today. So have you already engaged for this battlement, guys?
Mr. Moderator, Mr. Pipin,
Yes.
could I add some information of the rule?
Okay, please.
Okay, I apologize. Thank you for the time. Okay, first, some revision information for the POIs will be given at the end of 1 minute. So the signal is like this. And the second one, the information, we have a timer that will appear on my screen like this, but just until 7 minutes, just for statement from the speaker. And then the speaker continue to closing statement. Closing statement, there's no timer will be appear. And I just give you a signal if that's already 20 seconds. Okay, that is it. Thank you very much, Mr. Pipin.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Aris. That's all. And now it's time for you guys. And 5 minutes. Okay, so I give you the chance for the pros team, Balikpapan. Timekeeper, are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready anyway.
Okay, now please welcome the first speaker of Balikpapan team. Time is yours now.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, moderator. Good morning, adjudicators, the opposition side, and the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, according to Howard Crosby Warren, in the Dictionary of Psychology in 1934, aptitude is a condition or set of characteristics regarded as a symptomatic of an individual's ability to acquire with training some usually specified knowledge, skill, or set of responses, such as the ability to speak of a language, to produce music. Aptitude refers to an individual's inherent competence to undertake the specific task. It is our natural ability to learn and reason and includes components such as cognitive proneness, mental ability, innate intelligence, and nature of layer. Ability is defined as the actual power present in an organism to carry to completion any given act or to make adjustment successfully. Aptitude test is a way to evaluate an individual cognitive proneness and mental ability related to academics, vocation, and career, or a widely accepted medium for employees to evaluate a candidate's intelligence and ability. And the test is designed with questions to coach how candidates react to a specific situation beside their ability to perform tasks or solving the problems. And this test is a test to assess what the person is capable of doing or to predict what the person is able to learn or to give the right educational and instructions. It represents a person's level of competency to perform to certain type of task. And we got some types of aptitude tests. Abstract reasoning tests, spatial reasoning tests, visual reasoning tests, verbal ability tests, logical and critical reasoning tests, problem solving tests, and the last is decision making and judgment tests. And in this debate, an aptitude test is required to get admission in ATC's training. We, as the government side, we agree for these motions. We all know that all the air traffic control is a job that requires a deductive logical thinking, monitoring ability, inductive logical reasoning, ability to concentrate, spatial orientation, and of course, speaking English fluently. And we believe if we do that aptitude test in Indonesia, we will have the result of all that I've mentioned before. We must understand that the aptitude relationship within the intelligence. and human beings can get the knowledge and apply it purposefully, which includes learning from experiences, understanding abstract concepts, and processing available information. And it consists of cognitive and emotional intelligence. One of the most significant aptitude test benefits, therefore, this is their ability to measure several traits that define human intelligence. Cognitive intelligence refers to understanding that comes with thinking, expressing, and senses. It is also includes intelligence functions such as attention, knowledge, and memory, and also judgment and reasoning. It is also marks the ability to produce new knowledge of using existing knowledge. Thank you. Let me finish my speech, please. Emotional intelligence is the ability to monitor emotional and distinguish against different kinds of emotions. It is also includes emotional information during one's thinking process and behavior. Emotional intelligence also about perceiving, using, understanding, and managing emotions. It is difficult to categorize the candidates of a traffic controller on their ability. Considering all the aspects of the intelligence mentioned before, and aptitude tests are the standardized way to evaluate them truthfully, essentially because this test remains consistent during the various testing environments. They can be used repeatedly to assess the candidates in large numbers. So, however, the advantages of aptitude tests are many, which we already elaborate on the following. One is focus on core competencies. Because measuring human intelligence is not about just focusing on one skill, but it is more effective to focus on a cluster skill of abilities. These skills are cumulatively known as the competency of the air traffic controller that can be easily targeted with a good quality aptitude. So the ability is deductive logical thinking, monitoring ability, inductive logical reasoning, ability to concentrate, and spatial orientation should be cumulatively known as the competency of a traffic controller. Number 2 is objective assessment. The key of successful recruitment process is to assess the candidates objectively. And effective screening. So we use these tests to ensure that selected candidate is the right fit for a DC job. And the last one is standardization and fairness. Because these tests are fair and unbiased as the result independent of educational background and work experiences. Also, one cannot manipulate these tests. And the last one is quality hiring. A quality candidate would process specific cognitive ability and theoretical knowledge. An aptitude test can help them effectively assess them. Thank you. And that's all the benefits of why we use the aptitude test to be one of the requirement to assess the ATC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for this first speaker of Balikpapan. Let's see your time, Mr. Ares. Okay, you, the first speaker of Balikpapan, spent 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Okay, thank you very much. Now is the turn of the first speaker of the cons team from Iatca branch of Jakarta. Time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, we have a very special motion for today. The motion is an aptitude test is required in order to get admission in ATC training. Before we start to our management, let me deliver you some rebuttal, which is we have to deliver on the previous chance regarding via our PI 3 times, but the honorable affirmative team didn't give us a chance to give a challenge regarding their definition. That's why, as a result, we will have an emphasis regarding this motion. An aptitude test is required in order to get admission in ATC training. My first rebuttal, the honorable affirmative team is only defined word by word, which is pointed into one point, which is called by aptitude test. And they have failed to define this aptitude test regarding the ATC training itself. That's why we have a new point of view. Our emphasis on this point regarding this motion. The aptitude test is one designed to show whether somebody has the natural ability and the natural skill, which is according to this test, someone or somebody, I repeat, someone or somebody is required, will be accepted into an institution to follow the process of learning the skill that needed as an air traffic controller.
Admission.
This is the admission. So we will deliver you our timeline. Why the aptitude test is not important at all in ATC training admission. Me, as the first speaker, would deliver you the mechanism regarding establishment of particular skill like ATC based on experience, research, and disadvantages of aptitude test itself. The second speaker, Miss Bella, will give you a point that can make you agree with us that aptitude test is not important at all in ATC training admission. Miss Bella will deliver you the philosophy aspect that can lead the psychological impact why this aptitude test is not important at all. And the third speaker, Miss Bagus, will deliver you the strength of our argument regarding this point, and you will find the coupling things why you have to believe in us that aptitude test is not important at all in ATC training admission. First, let me explain you regarding aptitude. The honorable first speaker of the affirmative team tell that natural aptitude is natural ability. Actually, ATC's skill is not natural ability. It is being trained, being built, and also designed by a particular skill. And then let's check to the management. Guilford, on his book 1973 regarding fundamental statistics in psychology and education, said that aptitude is a skill that has three main dimensional perception. The first perception of dimension is perceptual dimension. Second dimension of psychomotor. Third, the intellectual dimension. Why I said like that? Because those three dimensional is being trained by practice, is being built, is being motivated when we are on the ATC training institution. The first point, the dimensional of perceptual. What is dimensional of perceptual? Is a skill regarding get a perception that consists of 6 factors. First, 5 sense of sensitivity. Second, attention. Third, orientation on dimensional. 4, time orientation. 5, the area perception. 6, the speed of perspection. For example, the 5 sense of sensitivity in training at ITC training institution will get by the syllabus as an ADC controller. You will hear, you will see, and those abilities are being built, are being designed when we are following the ATC training institution. The second dimension is intellectual dimension regarding memorizing factor. The memorizing factor is something that being trained. Well, when we are as the ATC, when we are trained as the ATC to remember the location of the aircraft itself when they are reporting their position. And then the third dimension is psychomotoric dimension, which is consists of another 6 factors, that is strength, impulse, factor of speed, coordination, flexibility, and all of those aspects are being built. I repeat, are being built and designed and also made by a training in the ATC training institution. And now let me deliver you the disadvantages of aptitude test, which is focused only on one side. The first disadvantages is no consideration for soft skill because of what? Their parameter on the diamond, on the aptitude test is only by the answer correct or wrong. No, thank you. And then the second is no consideration for domain expertise. The aptitude test only measure mental ability. The third is test anxiety itself. When you are following the aptitude test, when your mood is not good enough, I'm sure you will not get a good score because of what? This anxiety is give you some effect regarding doing your skill. The fifth one is no consideration for personality traits. That's why our limitation. Our timeline is aptitude test is not important at all at ATC training admission. Because of what? Because of this aptitude, those aptitude tests is not important in ATC training because those particular skill is developed while you are experiencing ATC training. So the aptitude training, if required as an admission, is not important at all. Thank you.
We still have 3 seconds. Is it enough? Okay, thank you very much. The first speaker of the cons team from Jakarta. Let me check your time. Okay, you spend 6 minutes and 55 seconds of your speech. Okay, thank you. And now is the turn for the pros team from Balikpapan will be conveyed by the second speaker. Please, time is yours. Hello, the second speaker of Balikpapan, are you ready?
Hello, am I audible?
Hold on, Mr. Moderator, for a while. I have a problem for a while. Hold on for the speech.
Okay, okay. Stand by for all. Let me know, Mr. Ares, when you are ready.
Okay, I'm ready now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, guys. From Balikpapan, the second speaker, time is just now. Thank you.
Interruption, sir.
Okay, thank you
May I go to the toilet? Meanwhile, this.
Sorry, Jakarta, what do you have to say?
Okay, stop.
Am I still
Yes, stand by. Please, guys, if you want to go to toilet, actually it's not. It is prohibited, but I can help you. Okay, you may go to the toilet and then you back again fastly. Okay, thank you. And the second speaker, you can continue your speech. Mr. Ares, timekeeper, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you for the moderator for the opportunity, and thank you for the honorable all of the educators already here, and also the consigned and all of the audience. As the second speaker of the pro team, I of course, want to emphasize what my team opinion about. We are agree with the motion that an aptitude test is required in order to get admission in ATC training. But what one fact is the definition that already stated by the consign is just make sure us as the pro team that we are really need an aptitude test. The definition about the motion just tell us that we really need this aptitude test because we are the ATC. We are work combining our skill using the speed of technology as well as thinking, so that we really need this aptitude because before we go as the trainee as an ATC. And human vector in human vector on document 9806 chapter 2.2.2.1, the human is the most flexible, adaptable, and valuable element of the aviation system. but it is also the most vulnerable to influence that can adversely impact its performance, with the majority of accidents resulting from less than optimum human performance. There has been a tendency to attribute them merely to human error. So that's why we need to do an aptitude test before the trainer got the trainee to be an ATC. If we don't doing an aptitude test, we just will produce the people that will go to be an ATC trainee, not a good ATC at skills. Because as an ATC, we have to be good at skills because we need to handle or to manage our technology such an ATC system, and then also we have to be able to manage our stress when we face the experiencing an abnormal situation. No, thank you. Let me continue my speech. So that I want to also emphasize, want to make an underline the notion about the aptitude to make us more understand. An aptitude test itself is a test designed to assess what a person capable of doing or to predict what a person is able to learn or to give the right education and instruction right. It represents a person's level of competency to perform type of tests. And aptitude tests are often to assess academic potential or career suitability and may be used to assess either mental or physical talent in a varied domain. I want to limit this arguing. What we arguing here is about our country, Indonesia. And then let me continue the speech. That's a psychological test. What we have done this before on the selection process or recruitment test before we go to the institution that provide an ATC education like a CPI or ATKP or etc. Is not really different with the aptitude test that we discuss here. The aptitude is more complex, while the psychological test is just more general. In the definition, we can find that the psychological test is a set of questions designed just to find out if someone has the right personality and just a limited aspect of behavior. The aptitude test itself consists of 7 tests, such as first, abstract reasoning tests evaluate the candidate's ability to possess a unique perspective toward the problem, identify patterns, and make a logical connection between available facts and information. It is really usable for us as an ATC. We need to identify and predict where the traffic will be meet or not. And the second is spatial reasoning test evaluate a candidate's ability to visualize 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional patterns and understand the objects to reach conclusions. It is really usable for us, especially when we are a procedural approach control. We need to have ability to visualize where is the arrow plan and when the plan will be meet each other. And then the third is verbal ability test and the candidate's language and comprehension abilities. They ensure the excellent working skills and communication abilities. Of course, in ATC, we need to communicate well and fluently to the pilot to drive what we want them to do. We need to instruct them well. And then about the fourth is a visual reasoning test are an evaluation of imagination that measures the ability to create a mental image of the objects to the conclusion. If we have no mental ability to be an ATC, we can never cover up what the stress when we are facing when we are working as the ATC in the real world. And no, thank you. And then the fifth is logical and critical reasoning test assess a candidate's ability to think logically. The sixth is problem solving test about the ability to visualize a problem, diverse perspective, and find a solution based on given information. We know that some of the countries have implemented the aptitude test, such as NATE in the UK, also or in the FAA, also use this aptitude test. Also in Iatca, we are the member of Iatca. Iatca has a policy that before we are being an ATC trainee, we have to pass the aptitude test specifically designed for air traffic control. Is on training chapter 10.1.2 in an Iatca document. And so as a conclusion, since we are the member of Iatca and Iatca has its policy, why we are as the member did not implement the policy that we have to do, like an aptitude test. in our country, before we accept a people test who wants to be an ATC to produce more well-educated, more high reliable to use technologies such as ATC system and automation computers such as a CBT program that we have here, like in a Balikpapan. Why we don't use an aptitude test to make more high reliable and well-educated ATC in our country, our nation, Indonesia. So that's all my opinion. That's all my group opinion about why we need to agree with the motion that an aptitude test really required to get admission to be an ATC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much from the second speaker of Balikpapan. Let me see your time. Okay, you spent 7 minutes exactly. Okay, guys, before we continue for the next person, I'd like to remind you again that please give the signal for the opposition team if you want to reject or accept EPOI. And I would like to give you suggestion to make it this conversation, sorry, to make it the debate today is more better. Is good for you, for every single of you to accept the EPOI. Thank you very much. And now this the time for the second speaker of Jakarta. Time is yours.
I'm gonna start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, the honorable judges and the government team of this house. Now, let me introduce myself. My name is Adrigus Tubela. I'm standing here as the second speaker of the opposition side of this house with the motion an aptitude test is required in order to get admission in ATC training. Before we start my speech, let me rebut what the first speaker said about. Okay. First of all, as I strengthened, my first speaker said that there is no emphasis of the definition. They only emphasize, they only define one by one word per word. There is no definition at all. And also there is no limitation. This is admission requirement to become an ATC, whether to become an ATC or being an ATC, you have to emphasize also at the, you have to underline also at that point. And I'd like to rebut, as the first speaker said about predict. This aptitude test still predictable, and you know that it is still produced by human. It can be human error because the aptitude test is produced by human. There will be human error. That's the predictable. And then also there is no parameter of aptitude test. There forget admission, the act of accepting somebody into an institution. And how can I rebut if it is only they are reading an article of an assumption and there is no explanation in detail? It's hard for us to understand. Let me explain first. Okay, let's go into my argument. Okay, aptitude. As we know that aptitude is natural ability, a skill or doing something. And in other words, we have the same meaning as a talent. The talent is natural ability to do something well. So we absolutely disagree with the motion, with this motion, an aptitude test is required in order to get admission in ATC training. Because why? Because success is a result of hard work. I give you the succeeding in ATC training. It's not because of talent, not because an aptitude. It is because the skill that shaped, okay, by the willingness, hard working, practice, experiencing, such as from on-the-job training. Okay, after we accepted in ATC training. No, thank you. Okay, I give you the example of Thomas Alva Edison said, success is 1% talent, 99% perspiration. Okay, on the other words, we can say 1 talent, 99% hard work. It means an effort. effort. Okay, because aptitude, talent is natural ability. Person with 1% talent without effort is nothing. So, do you think that talent means creative? Do you think that talent means great? Okay, talent only 1%. If there is no effort, is nothing. No one succeed. No one in the world was born with a talent of a fun inventor. I give you the example. Thomas Alva Edison invented a light bulb because persistent, because hard worker. And imagine if he just invent until 9,955 fail. Can you imagine if he is not a hard worker? Of course, he will give up. And can you imagine right now, if there is no lamp, it's still a darkness at night, and also in the room without any ventilation, still darkness until now. So first time that I want to be an ATC, I have no knowledge at all. Okay, talents. Do you think that I have a talent, an ATC, since we were born? Talents of separation, since we were born, to control the aircraft, and also the pressology since we were born. Absolutely no. Attitude or talent is natural ability, such as if we can run fast, maybe we have a talent to become a football player. Okay, and as the ATC is a profession, no need talent. Because why? Because we are shaped and get the knowledge in ATC training. Okay, it's shaped by practice and get the knowledge in ATC training to build the skill, to sharpen the skill. Okay, this is what we call as practice, learn, and evolve. And then we have the experience. The mechanism of ATC training has been provided from our syllabus in ATC training in educational system. All has the description has been provided as the competence standard. What we are going to learn, for example, we have an on-the-job training, we have the test and exam, and it has to be fulfilled in competence based on Civil Aviation Safety Regulation 69. And from that point, we can say that being an ATC is not as easy as we flap our hand. It needs a journey. We have to practice in order to get the experience. So it doesn't mean that genius person can be a good controller. So good controller genius, if they have a willingness and effort to practice. ATC aptitude test for an air traffic controller is not important because it was shaped by practice, learning, effort, and experience. Okay, and I have the theory of psychoanalysis from Karen Herney. Every individual has the inborn potential for self-realization. Every person is capable of changing and growing. That is why everyone has the inborn potential for self-realization. So applying aptitude test make limitation contradictory with potential self-realization. So that we can shape us think fast response, decision making. It work by learning, practice, experiencing, on the job training, experience. Okay, so I show you the advantage. Aptitude test is produced by human and may
Time is
human
over.
error designing.
Time is over.
Okay, there is no parameter for every institution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the second speaker of Jakarta. Okay, let me see your time. Okay, the second speaker of Cons team spent 7 minutes and 8 seconds. Okay, guys. So as moderator, I give you suggestion to make it this debate competition is better. I think for the third speaker, for each group, for each team, it's better for you to give the POI, every single of you from the third speaker for the last chance. Okay? Yeah, to make it better for this debate competition today, for the third speaker of each group, please give a chance for your opposition to give a POI for both of you, the third speaker. Okay, thank you. Now is the time for the third speaker of Prox team from Balikpapan. Now time is yours. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, honorable of adjudicators, speakers and keepers, moderator, and everyone, and one side. Thank you for this opportunity. I want to ask to my side, you only debate our statement. You are failed to give your real proof, your real evidence. Why we don't need the aptitude test? What is the disadvantage of the what is, about the theory, about the statement? You only debate about our statement before, about the meaning, etc. But you never give us the evidence or the proof why we don't need the aptitude test. As we said before, as my first speaker and second speaker said, the aptitude test is a test to test a candidate to about his aptitude and his behavior. Have you ever taken the aptitude test? I have ever taken the aptitude test maybe in 20 minutes. Do you know the aptitude test is as same as psychology test, but it's more complex, you know. And in aptitude test, they are split into two steps. Steps number one, aptitude test, assess an aptitude through psychometric for special orientation test that we need for an ATC. Two, the concentration ability. Three, monitoring skill test. And four, inductive or deductive skill test. And step number two, you will be assessed about your behavior, characteristic, and your trait through questionnaire-based assessment. So, in aptitude test, before we go into institution, we should filter the candidate whether he is have a mental ability, working logical thinking, how to react in the how to react in the normal situation. So we need the aptitude test to filter the people. Okay, I will give the chance for your PI.
30 seconds.
Well, I'm going to, sorry, is it my chance?
Yes, 30 seconds.
Yes.
Not more.
Okay, the first point, if they pay attention in detail, me as the first speaker already delivered you the 4 points, disadvantages of the aptitude test. And then the second, how come a general candidate can handle abnormal situation without being trained first, without design first, without being built by an ATC training instruction.
Natural flair is needed. Natural flair is needed.
Okay, thank you. The speaker.
Okay, I know what what is your point. You said that we as general people, whoever never have education for ATC, we cannot react to abnormal situation. I got the point. But you know, in aptitude test, your natural flair, your natural flair is needed. So to select the people, we should do the aptitude test, because when we do it, we get a candidate with a strong logical thinking, a strong mental ability, and it can access your ability to perform as an air traffic controller. So the first speaker on the side said that the aptitude test is not measure the soft skill. Do you know what is soft skill means? Soft skill is interpersonal skill, communication skill, listening skill, time management, empathy. That's all in. It's all skills will we get if we engage with other people. It can be trained, right? But to be an ATC, you must first pass the pre-elimination test. Aptitude test is the pre-elimination test for the ATC, because in this test you will be this aptitude test will be access you for the inductive, deductive logical thinking, situational judgment test, and how about your monitoring skill, your concentration skill with the question. And in this aptitude test, it's same as psychology test because on the test the numbers, the diagrams, the tables is SMS as the psychologist test, but more complex. So I believe aptitude test is required to get admission for ATC training. Okay. The ATC test, the aptitude test, NATS already, National Air Traffic Service already do the aptitude test for the pretest elimination, and Iatca said also it's a mandatory to get aptitude test before you can enter the institution. So in aptitude test, the advantage of this aptitude test is first, they will be test a memory ATC test, 2 variable test, 3 spatial awareness ATC test, 4 logical reasoning personality test, and reading comprehension ATC test. In this, so I believe that the motion said that aptitude test aptitude test is required to get admission for an ATC. Yes, we do believe that, because we need aptitude test for filter the candidates.
Time is over. Time is over.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much. That is speaker of the pros team from Balikpapan. Let me check your time. Okay, the third speaker of pro team from Balikpapan, you spent 7 minutes and 5 seconds. Okay, next to the third speaker of cons team from Jakarta, as Balikpapan did before, you have an obligation to give the POI from Balikpapan in the last of this speak. Okay, the third speaker of Jakarta, now time is yours.
Am I audible? I will start in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, madam speakers from Balikpapan, our government team side of the house. I'm as the third speaker here. I would like to give the summarize of what have been debated. According to the motion today, an aptitude test is required in order to get admission in ATC training, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of interesting because what I found that a lot of article readings and also that connected into evidence like research, which is no arguments to debatable in here, ladies and gentlemen. So before I'm going to the clash point and summarize from the first speaker and second speaker, both teams, I would like to give some rebuttals. Which one? The first is the government team side of the house, just telling us how this aptitude test have a purpose itself. Without looking at the motion itself, we talk about in order to get admission in ATC training, not only talking about this aptitude test in generally. So ladies and gentlemen, that's why I told you for the first speaker of the affirmative side of the house, told us defining the entire thing about aptitude test only. That's what my go ahead. Yes.
Okay, Balikpapan, please.
Yes, thank you. I mean,
You only have 30 seconds.
Yes, you said that the aptitude test is required for get admission on ATC, for training ATC, right? So that's why we already said all of us are agreed with that motion, because before we get to institution, we need this test to assess us, to assess
Okay, I get the point. Thank you very much, ma'am.
the general
Okay,
candidate.
I get the point, ma'am. Thank you. I will continue again. For that point, if you said the admission is the required as the aptitude test is required, and when you are talking, as my first speaker said also, it's being built, ma'am. It's been mentioned in the research of Wilford, and also I would like to I will tell you later on the clash point. No, thank you. I will continue with the rebuttal again. And the second is they not defining the most word aptitude test itself. The most word is only the aptitude test at the admission. How about the admission side? This is a pace when you're trying to get into an institution of ATC training. That's how that's what they're trying to state by my first speaker. Okay, that's all about the rebuttals. I'll go into the clash point. The first one is whether or not this aptitude test may result a good ATC by particular skill. Back to the definition, as defined by the first speaker of the government team side of the house. Ladies and gentlemen, they didn't make connection between ATC training and the aptitude itself. Because when you say aptitude is ability to of a particular skill, meanwhile, ATC training is to teach an ability in a particular skill. That's mentioned that the aptitude is not to be tested. No, thank you. I'm explaining, ma'am. And the aptitude is about to be built, not being. No, thank you. Aptitude is being built and not to be tested, because nobody come in natural talent. With an aptitude is a synonym of the talent, as my second speaker said. From the first side of the house, told us about the condition characteristic of individual ability that come into the aptitude test itself. Ladies and gentlemen, from this point, my first speaker outside of the house told that it's all about built by the three dimensions that mentioned by the Guilford research. The first one, perception dimensions, psychomotoric dimensions, and intellectual dimensions. That's why it makes an evidence of us. If they told us there's no evidence, it's the big evidence that make our side of the house of society did not agree. Aptitude test is a requirement in order to get admission, but it's being built in the ATC training itself, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and the second clash point is it useful to get an order of admission in ATC training by aptitude test? I will make it back into the philosophy and the psychology side have been delivered by my second speaker. She told that this like a philosophy of the someone working on, like it have been built by themselves, but they have it self willingness is a hard work to do something. It's not about talking this aptitude is not only being tested when they get born and they have it to do the ATC stuff. You know, ATC stuff is being learned. We worked out. You are an ATC. We are an ATC. We being taught to be an ATC. We are not to be tested to be an ATC. How come? I come into institution. I know about best, like I know about how to learn. I know about I know about the fast response, how to respond, pressing the crash bell, and so. It's not about like that. So on this clash point, I have a conclusion that this government inside of the house only believe this aptitude test itself without taking account on the admission order to have the ATC training, ladies and gentlemen. Besides, we are very evidently have told you any side of research have been told by my first and second speakers that we are believe this aptitude test is not required in order to get admission in ATC training. but it's being built by the dimension as mentioned by the Guilford. It will be built in the ATC training. So they are running from the definition. Once again, they're running from the definition itself. They didn't make any clear the purpose of the motion, ladies and gentlemen. That's all from me. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Okay, thank you very much, the consim from Jakarta, the third speaker. Okay, before we continue for the last speaker, please give applause for you both guys. That was amazing. Okay, we go to the next session. That is the closing statement from both of you will be conveyed by the first speaker to reply speech. Not the first time for the cons team from Jakarta. Please convey your reply speech about around 4 minutes. Thank you. Jakarta. Please convey your closing statement about 4 minutes. Time is yours now. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, finally we've arrived at the reply speech for regarding this debate today. And I'm going to review what's going on this debate from the first speaker of the affirmative team until the third speaker of my opposition team. First of all, the honorable affirmative team once again failed to emphasize the definition regarding the ATC, regarding the admission of the ATC training institution, because they just pointed weight on the definition on its aptitude test. This is, we almost found no any linkage regarding the admission ATC training itself. And then we, as the negative team, we pushed hard to prove you, to make you believe that the ATC skill is a particular skill that being built by those 3 dimensions, as the first speaker of the negative team has explained to you. It is built, it is made, it is designed by following the training on ATC instruction. On ATC institution. That is why we are until this time, as the conclusion of our team, the aptitude test is not important at admission. Because of what? Because it is built, it is made, and it is designed when the candidates, the general candidates, is entering the ATC training institution. And then let me deliver you some negative aspect of the opposition team. They are delivering of the government team. They are delivering the article which is linked to the aptitude itself, and they are trying to linkage an expertise opinion without a clear research, and then connect it again into a document, which is, it's called like reading a textbook. That's why my second speaker has said that there is something almost we can rebuttal, because this is an article. How come to rebuttal a textbook? And then unfortunately, this is the class point, as my third speaker already told you, that they agree that the general candidates is trained to be handle the abnormal situation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a statement of agree with us. Why I say so? How come a candidate, a general candidate, can handle an abnormal situation without being trained first at the ATC training institution itself? I'm going to describe you how come, if this general candidate is not following the ATC training institution, I'm sure, this is absolutely sure, these candidates cannot handle a Mayday aircraft in final condition, because they have to follow the ATC instruction. Sorry, they have to follow the ATC institution. And from the affirmative team, we've been built to a constructive argument supporting by the data and by the expertise research, which is concluded by the 3 dimension of the particular skill which is built in the ATC training institution. And then the last speech of my speech today is our conclusion regarding the timeline that aptitude test is not important at all in ATC training admission. Because of what? Because the admission test is not important at all in ATC admission, because the aptitude test is a particular skill that being trained in ATC institution. It means the general candidates should enter the ATC institution to get trained to be an ATC. Thank you.
Okay, time is up. Thank you very much from the cons team from Jakarta. Okay, now it's the turn for Balikpapan as the pro team to convey their closing statement. Time is yours now. Thank you.
Thank you. For the opposition, are you ready to hear us? Okay. For all the summary of our debate in the that the aptitude test is required to get admission to ATC's training, the opposition is failed to prove us why it is not needed. You already said all of the soft skill that we already know that it can be trained. But remember, you as a human have the cognitive, and that is that cannot be trained. So you just don't know what is the aptitude test is assessed for. And the statement of the opposition sides make us believe that we are in the right path to do that test. In the Iatca, said in Amsterdam document 82C22, the aptitude test is specifically designed for air traffic controllers shall be included in the selection. And Indonesia is the member of the Iatca. So it is logical to do that. And the composition of the selection board, including representation by the member association where appropriate. And the Iatca already said that member associations should be cooperate with those responsible for the selection of the air traffic control in their country and obtain agreement on, number one is the composition of the selection board, including representation by the member association where appropriate. And number two is definite list of criteria which would be sought by the selection board. And the last one is the procedures of the selection process. If you want to know what is the fact that we need the aptitude test, you can see the reports of the air navigation company in October 25, 2018 in Ambon. There is an unexpected climbing traffic, while there is no another one in 1,000 feet below above. I mean that above them, and the air traffic controller aware and know the situation of the air traffic controller solve that conflict at that moment. It means that there is a fast decision maker that should be used, and the fast decision maker not only be trained, but we have the cognitive skill that we needed. So for the government, as the side of the government here, we agree that the aptitude test is required to get admission to air traffic controller. Once again, the cons team is failed to deliver their statements. You just debate our statement. Thank you so much.
You still have 38 seconds. Will you complete?
Thank you. And you must remember that the cognitive can be trained. That can be trained. You have to read more from the books or others. Thank you so much.
It's completely enough? Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you very Thank you very much for Balikpapan team for the closing statement. And you spend time 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay, before we continue to the adjudicator to give their comment, please take a deep breath for you, all of you guys. But give applause for you both. That was amazing. Okay. Thank you. It was very nice, guys. And now it's the time for the adjudicator to give their comment about this competition today. And the first is the adjudicator from Indonesian Aviation Academy, Mrs. Tari. Now time is yours to give the comment.
Okay, I'm the first, yeah. Okay. Thank you, moderator. First of all, I would like to thank you for the team, yeah, the audience, and also the moderators for helping the debate process, and then everything is going well. Second one is I just want to give information that you need to know all the debaters here have been amazing performance, yeah, from the pre-match until now, semi-final rounds. And I think the audience know that for sure, yeah, I believe that. Okay. Maybe here I just have a view statement from me. Yeah, I will give some correction and just like a building statement for the future, which may not be just for these events. Maybe we will perform at other debates. Yeah, I hope so. The first one for Balikpapan. Thank you, Balikpapan. Good statement when you made a opening speech. Yeah, and then actually also for judge, I was amazing how the constant arguments like a heading to certain point needed, yeah, and how the first speaker also explained detail of the future process, yeah. For the content, I just want to share you all the debaters, yeah. Substantive time, I think it's running out, yeah, when you appear and then you perform. You have not received a POI, yeah, this better not happen, yeah. You will able to provide other information, yeah. In debate, we must do like rebuttals, yeah. That's the point from interruption. So we know it POI. We can reject POI actually, yeah. If the POI break the rules, yeah. But it is highly impossible. We reject all the POI, yeah. And then for the language, all of you, your English are easy to understand by the audience. I believe that, yeah. And then how you deliver, your intonation, your volume, it's very good. How you make eye contact, yeah. And the point is really important here, yeah. When you want to give a superior sentences, then the employment is good enough from you, yeah. And for the closing statement, both of you, yeah, good closing statement and right on the target. So both of you still stay on the argument. Actually, yeah, that's good. That's the point. I think enough from me for Balikpapan and that. That's very, very good performance from both of you. Thank you. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Tari, for your comment. And next, we go to the second adjudicator from Mongolia, Miss Naina. Time is yours to give the comment.
Okay, first of all, I would like to congratulate the both teams that you did an amazing job. I know it's kind of hard to prepare for the debate and it takes a lot of time and effort, but it's also challenging for the judges to give a score who did an amazing job that you guys. So it's kind of hard to give the scores to you guys. And about the thing that, well, I think it's kind of hard to give the points to both teams because both teams had their own pros and cons. For example, Balikpapan gave a very good statement and they supported their idea with a very good evidence and also mentioned about that Iatca supports the idea of having the aptitude test, including in the selection and the training of the ATC. Yeah, that's true. That's kind of included in the technical and professional manual of Iatca. That's true. And instead of just relying on the conventional pen and paper test, maybe challenging the trainees or the cadets' own ability to react to this certain situation makes it much easier for the test takers and also test givers to have much more fewer candidates for the next training, for the next basic training. That's the point of having the aptitude test. And also, other hand, some people see that, which is also mentioned by the Jakarta team, that the test itself is designed by the pupil. It might have a human error. It might have some design error. It might really challenge one's ability or skills, because humans can be adjusted to the certain circumstances and they can be trained. That's also one point proven from others. And that's why also all countries doesn't have an aptitude test, or some countries just included aptitude test in their psychological test or their academic test. So the topic itself is kind of complicated, also has this versatile perspective. So when I given the points, I really didn't concentrated or focused on the topic itself, but instead I purely give the points focusing on how you deliver the speech, how you use the English, and how you put the good use of English in your dialogue or in your speech. And yeah, I must say that I was quite impressed with your presentation, and you delivered it amazing. And it was very interesting that you just point of information, you raised the point of information and you accepting it. That made the whole flow of this debate very interesting. And congratulations again. I think I will send my points to the Linda. So yeah, that's all the comments from me. And thank you guys.
Thank you, Naina.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was a good, amazing comment. Okay, next, come to the last adjudicator from Airnav Indonesia, Mrs. Feranti.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, teams. Congratulations, you have arrived at the semifinal, and you did it all very well. I second Nania's opinions that it is difficult as adjudicators to give you score. Not only because of the motion itself is quite debatable. Of course, it is debate competition. It shall be debatable. Let me express some notes I took from the debate. Both of you are making good preparations. You search any reference, documentations, good point from Balikpapan, and for relating the definitions of aptitude test to the task of air traffic controller task, and good point also on taking references from Iatca. But also, it is a great view from judge to express the argument that the skill may be built through the training, and also a good argument that the mandatory requirement is set by each state through the CSR. Also, some minor use of language in my notes, like grammar, like the anxiety is give you, or the aptitude training. We are talking about aptitude tests, and some statement made by Balikpapan also. I have ever take the aptitude test. It should be I have ever taken, and something like that. I can understand that when you have full arguments, full thoughts in your head, and when you try to express your thoughts into your statement, it would be difficult. So maybe we in the next kind of chance, maybe if you go through the finals, you can prepare how to express your good thoughts you have in mind more fluently, and so it is easier to be understood, and also you may speak it correctly. And if I may make some notes to Balikpapan team, it is very good that you make great preparations. that you make notes, but when you are speaking in this debate, it is important also that you make eye contact. So don't take times in flipping the pages of your notes. So you don't make eye contact with your opposition team. And also, when one of your speakers is speaking, I think you should hold, the other speaker should hold adding their arguments to the speaking speakers, so it will look good for that speaker. And I also take note for Dam Jakarta that you ask permission to the toilet next. If you if you next go to the final, please be prepared. Okay, so you may be present when the other team is presenting their argument. It is important as a in discussion. Okay, so in the closing remark, Jakarta make good point in reviewing the debate flow and also emphasizing his argument. I noticed this quite a few times when every time Balikpapan state that Jakarta only argued their argument, in Jakarta will explain again that this is for the admission and something like that. Also for Balikpapan, you have a good reference to the documents of Iatca manual, and while Jakarta reminds Balikpapan that you should not base your argument solely based on the textbooks. Overall, everything is good between you, everyone expressing their argument well, and again, I think we will meet sometimes to decide who is the winner for this session. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you, teams. All the best for you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Fernandi, for your comment. Okay, guys, now it's the time to check your final score from the 3 adjudicators.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Moderator. Can I add one more comment on this?
Oh, okay, absolutely. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know who's gonna make it to the final, but I want to know that I would be happy even if one of you goes to the final. Yeah, I would be happy. Even in the final, you can do, both of you can do. One more thing, if you one of you makes it to the final, I want you to learn from each other. For example, Balikpapan, you did an amazing job that with your statement, you provided many evidence, many facts. You didn't learn about the manuals and the documents because most of the aviation community works on based on the manuals, right? But also you have something to learn from the other team, which made the Jakarta team amazing, that interacting with your audience and also making the speech your own self, because Jakarta team they really didn't look at the paper and they just made it their own. I think you can learn from them. And also from the Jakarta team, you can make your speech more stronger, providing more statistics, facts, or maybe stick to the more scientific facts. That might strengthen your future statement or future debate. Yeah, that's the final comment I have. And good luck to you both, guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Naina, for your additional comment. This was amazing. Okay, guys, give me about 5 minutes to complete your final score from the adjudicator. And maybe the host, could you play music while waiting the final score? Thank you. Okay, guys, are you still there? Balikpapan? Okay. Okay, before I announce who is the winner for this debate competition today, I'd like to say that both of you are battle well, that both of you have a strong argument, but as we know that in a competition should be only one winner. So I announce that Balikpapan, you get total score from the 3 adjudicators is 85. And Jakarta, we get 3 scores from 3 adjudicators, and the total score for you is 89.7. Okay, congratulations for Jakarta. You go to the next final match of this debate competition. Applause for you.
Congratulations.
Okay, I think it's enough for today. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry. As a moderator, I have a lot of mistake for guide for this competition today. I really sorry, and thank you very much for you all. You have a great work, great job, and thank you for the adjudicators, the timekeeper, and also the host. Thank you very much. See you on the next competition. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We love you Balikpapan.
Love you, Balikpapan.
Makasih ya, Mbak.
Oke, Jas. Balik
Mbak.
papan.
Makasih, Mbak.
Okay, the host. The host, timekeeper, no time is yours. Thank you very much. May I leave this room?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Pipin, as moderator for the first match. Maybe we will continue to the second match. The second match will be Mrs. Linda as the moderator.
Okay, welcome, Mrs. Linda. Welcome, Mrs. Linda. Thank you for the adjudicators, Mbak Tari, Mbak Vera, Miss Naina. See you.
See you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Maybe we're waiting for from branch Makassar and branch was Kupang. So stand by for a while until 2 of the team is signing in. Welcome, Imade Pramata from branch Kupang, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Welcome.
Okay, we're still waiting for your meet.
Okay, thank you.
And for information, due to different location of time from Kupang and Makassar, so there will be azan on Makassar and Kupang. So when azan time happen, so we will stop the time or pause the time, and we'll continue after it. Pramata from branch Kupang, right?
Right, right, sir.
Hello everyone, is my voice clear? Can you see me and hear me?
Not much. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
See you clear.
I think we should start at 10:30 or 11.
Maybe we should start at 10 of 35 or 40. But when the participant already full, we will continue to lucky well.
Okay, I see Makassar is here, and also where is Kupang? Kupang. Where is Hanis and Amandus?
Just wait a second, ma'am. I still make a communication with them.
All right, then we will wait. Hello, Hanis. Where is Amandus? Oh, on your right. Okay. Okay, since I see all of us are complete, I want to open this competition. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Makassar. Good morning, Kupang. And before we start our competition, we will decide who is the government host and the opponent. And I will give this stage to Ares as the lucky wheel operator. Ares, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time, Mrs. Linda. Okay, and this time we will share the lucky wheel. Hold on. Okay, this is it. The lucky wheel. Two participants, Makassar and Kupang. And the first is for pros. Will be the pros. Okay, Makassar as the pros. Okay, back to moderator. Time is yours.
Thank you, Ares. So that we have decided Makassar is the pros and or government host, and Kupang is the cons or opponent. Thank you. And good morning to everyone. Good morning to all of you at Zoom or on YouTube. Thank you for this opportunity. I want to introduce myself. My name is Linda Chandler from Balikpapan. I will be your host on this session. And welcome to Iatca English Debate Competition. And first of all, thank God, finally we arrived on this moment in the semi-final. And in this precious moment, we want to acknowledge the presence of our esteemed Airnav Indonesia and executive boards. Maybe they are watching on YouTube. And also, I want to introduce our beautiful adjudicators. The first is Miss Ferranti. Miss Ferranti, could you turn on your video and mic?
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Thank you, Ms. Ferranti. And the second is Ms. Dwi Lestari from Indonesia Aviation Academy, Curug.
Hi, thank you, Linda.
Thank you. And the third, our adjudicator far away from Mongolia, Naina Das.
Hello, everyone. Good luck for your debate.
Naina, kindly introduce yourself to the audience on YouTube. They are talking about you. Who is Naina?
Okay,
Yes, the
hello,
time is yours.
everyone. Okay, hello. So my name is Nana, and I am Regional Vice President in North Asia of Iatca, and I'm also facilitator of the Speak English program of Iatca. And thank you for Iatca inviting me to be here. Yeah, I'm honored and humbled. And the previous debate, it was in the fire, and I'm really looking forward to this round of the debate. And good luck to all the teams.
On behalf of Iatca Executive Board, we want to say thank you so much, Nana, for being able to help us as the adjudicators today. Thank you so much. Regard to your MA. And next, I want to introduce the man behind the scene. The first is Gilang as the Zoom host. Gilang, where are you, Gilang?
Good morning, Mbak Linda.
Where
Good
is
morning,
your
everyone.
face? Turn off your video, please.
I'm so sorry. The signal here is so unstable. I cannot
All right, then.
show my face.
Never
Good luck for
mind.
everyone.
And the second is Indras as co-host. Indras? Since Indras is not here, and also Ares as timekeeper.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, handsome Ares, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, my brother and sister, without them, this program can't running well. So that I want to give the stage to the government house to introduce their team. Time is yours. Government.
Introducing the team first, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. We are here as a government team or the pros team. Am I audible?
Mr. Moderator and Makassar and Kupang, hold on for a while. Could I take a minute to introducing a signal of this competition to make it clear, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, before it start, so we are clear about the time. Okay, the first is about this. This is my background, and the time will be appear here on my screen. 7 minutes, just 7 minutes, just 7 minutes for statement time. And when the time already past 1 minute, this background will be appear one time for POI. So you all can start the POI. And the third background is 1 last minute POI is over. At 1 last minute, it will be appear this picture, and this sign of POI is over. And after 7 minutes, right? I can demo when 7 minutes is up. Okay, this will become the red, and this background will be appear. And for some notes, this is not means that your speech already is over. You still have 20 seconds for closing statement, but there's no timer over here. No timer. And after 20 seconds has been passed, this background closing statement time is over. It means your time has been over. Okay, Maggie, just it clear for the signal?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Ares, timekeeper. And before we started our debate competition today, I want to inform to all of you our motion today is restructuring of Indonesia airspace into a single flight information region. And I will give the first stage to the government to bring their opening statement. Time is yours.
So first, am I audible? Okay, I would begin my statement in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, states have to organize their airspace or flight information regions in such way that their boundaries should be delineated with regard to prevailing traffic pattern, regardless of national boundaries, ladies and gentlemen. It's based on the Annex 11, Chapter 2. So it means that we are here as a government team would like to make sure the safety and also the better of a traffic flow management, ladies and gentlemen. And we are here also, before I begin my arguments, I would like to give you a point of view about the definitions and also the limitations in this debate. We know that this debate is about restructuring of Indonesia's airspace into a single flight information region, ladies and gentlemen. Here, our definition as government team is flight information region based on Annex 11 is defined as an airspace of defined dimensions which flight information service and outing service are provided, ladies and gentlemen. And also, we are here as a government needs to make sure the words of restructuring. What we meant here by restructuring is combining two flight information region into one and move it into one place, including FSO or Flight Information Center and the ACC or the Upper Control Area. And what we want here as a government also in this debate and this motion, we are going to propose a change to the current situation by giving you a model of a single flight information region of Indonesia, ladies and gentlemen. Before I go to my arguments, I would like to give you a line about what will I bring as a first speaker and my second and third speaker. Here, I would like to bring you one arguments. My arguments will be about where it should be located. And my second speaker would be giving you two arguments. The first one is about how it is managed in the aspect of air route and the aspect of the facility and also the human resources. And his second argument would be about cost effectiveness. And my third speaker would be bringing you the deep analysis and also to summarize our government team, ladies and gentlemen. Now, back to my arguments. We believe that, ladies and gentlemen, we are here as a government and the opposition team over there would agree that the decision to establish more than one flight information region to cover the airspace over the state is obvious for obvious reason, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about how actually the size of the countries, but it is also depends on four characteristics. First, it's topography. Second, road structure. Third, facility and management problem. It is the human resource. And then the fourth is cost effectiveness. We believe that we are here as a government team and the opposition team would be agree, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what we are going to prove you that Indonesia is actually already managed those four things, ladies and gentlemen. How and why? So that's why we are going to prove you and give you how it is going to manage, ladies and gentlemen. First, back to my argument. First argument that I will be giving you is where it should be located, ladies and gentlemen. The topography of Indonesia has three characteristics. First, highlands. Second, lowlands. And third is mountains or hills. On the status quo, ladies and gentlemen, if we are connected these kind of things into the place of our flight information region nowadays, our flight information is in two places. First in Jakarta, standby. Second is in Makassar, which is Ujung Pandang FIR and Jakarta FIR. Go ahead, POI. Mute. You are mute. Oh.
Okay, thank you for giving me the time to give you a POI. Can I have a clarification about the topography of Indonesia, which you mentioned three lists of its topography again? Thank you.
Just thank you. What we as a government mentioned before, we have three topography, ma'am. The first is lowlands, highlands, and mountain and hills. It will be connected about the location that we are going to give you, ma'am. Back to my argument. So I have already told you that we consist of Makassar and in Jakarta. Seeing by its location, ma'am, ladies and gentlemen, in the aspect of force majeure, such as the earthquake, drought, and so many things, Based on the data of initiatives and community response in disaster management Makassar, or as we call as BNPB, there is no earthquake on 2018 to 2019 and only one in 2020 with no casualties, ladies and gentlemen. However, in Jakarta also, last earthquake, the biggest is happened on 14 on January 2022 in Banten with 6.7 scale. But however, it's said by the meteorological agency that the earthquake did not have the potential of tsunami lesson. So it means that the condition of the disaster is not really affecting the location of where it is located. Well, actually, ladies and gentlemen, it is not about the earthquake itself, but it is about the building that's suspectable that makes it more dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. Jakarta now already has a building and control plan to be a place where the SFR takes control. Proof that Jakarta Tower especially is built by French with a spring, ladies and gentlemen, that it is resistant to earthquake. And there is no, and we are here as a government, agree that there is no such safe place in this world, ladies and gentlemen. It's about how we anticipate those problems, ladies and gentlemen. So based on the data and the research that we already told you that we are here as a government would like to combine those flight information region as we limited before in Jakarta city or as one single information or as a single flight information region, ladies and gentlemen. So we are here agree that restructuring of Indonesia's airspace into a single flight information is really needed. So that's why we stand on this motion. Thank you.
All right, time is up, and thank you, Makassar, for the great opening. I will give time to the opposition to rebuttal the statement from Makassar. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time for the moderator to give us as the negative side of the house or opposition team to give our rebuttal and our arguments. Me, Hanis, as the first speaker will introduce our team. I have two teammates in here, which is Tevi as the second speaker, and the third speaker is Imade, which in the split screen from us. So I thank you for the opponent as well and the honorable adjudicators as well as the timekeeper. First of all, I thank you for giving us a clear definition that we have the same understanding of where this debate is going. They said that the limitation they have set the limitation, which is restructuring the airspace, Indonesia's airspace into single FIR means combining two FIR, which now currently established, which is MASTZ and JASTSC, into one FIR and move it into one place. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the same understanding into this limitation, but the lack of the government side of the house to put this limitation is the time. I mean, this is the goal that we have to restructure our. They believe that we have to restructure our Indonesian airspace into single FIR, this is the goal. But we also acknowledge that we have to create or define a SMART goal itself, which consists of specific, measurable, achievable, and reliable and timely manner. They lack of putting the time for restructuring the airspace, like how many time, how long does it have to move to restructure our airspace into only one FIR. And then the second one is the urgency itself. They didn't tell us the urgency of restructuring our Indonesian airspace into one. And also they said that we have from the meteorological condition or BMKG, they said that Makassar and Jats is it is not prone to earthquake and so on and so forth, but they don't say the urgency of moving or of restructuring this the established FIR right now into one. I mean, like, what's the urgency? What's their goals to? I mean, what's the urgency of creating a single FIR from this established to FIR. And then also they said that for the record from meteorological condition station, there is no earthquake within particular years for the Makassar location and then Jakarta location. But what about the flood? I mean, Jatsi is located in Tangerang near to Jakarta, where we have a lot of flood coming through the years, and this is also a threat. We should also consider the threat to implement the plan that we are creating. And next, move on to our statement. Me, as the first speaker of the negative side of the house, will not support this motion, which is restructuring Indonesia airspace into single FIR, because first, we take a look at the economical side. It's really a huge effort. Restructuring Indonesian airspace into single FIR is not as easy as we plan it. It takes a huge effort that the impact of the stakeholders from the ANSP, regulator, airlines, airport, ATC. And looking at the damage that caused by pandemic that hit us 2 years ago, which impacted the aviation sector, we really suffered a huge loss. And according to McKinsey, airlines with the exception of air cargo carriers were the biggest destroyers of value in aviation industry during the first year of pandemic, ladies and gentlemen. And economic loss by airline was $167.9 billion in 2020, which impacted directly to ANSP with $3.4 billion losses. We all acknowledge that the maintenance costs covered by the fare that is being charged to airlines by using our services, by using the services we provided as air navigation service provider. But looking back to our worst 2 years of pandemic, we are now struggling to get back on our feet, concerning that we also lack of fund to develop the plan into reality. As I mentioned earlier, that we have to have a SMART goals, which is realistic. It is not realistic to restructurize our Indonesian airspace into single FIR, concerning that we have a lack of fund, ladies and gentlemen, because of the pandemic that hit us. And second of all, I will talk about the air navigation service provider that should have 3 aspects, as the affirmative side of the house has said to us, that has stated that our country is the topography of our country is highlands, lowlands, and mountain hills, which is will affect the communication and navigation surveillance, which is the 3 aspects that we need in creating to be a good air navigation service provider. Those 3 aspects should perform properly in order to achieve the safety, then the efficient of conduct, because we as the air navigation service provider should put ahead the safety first and then the efficiency. And we should face the possibility of hazard occurrence, as I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, such as flood, not only earthquake or tsunami or whatever, and so on and so forth. But we should always acknowledge that there are many threats into this plan that the government side of the house created. And to plan and implement something that we should consider to the threat to avoid creating catastrophe in aviation industry, as well as to maintain our reputation worldwide, ladies and gentlemen. So we as the negative side of the house or the opponent side will reviews to implement the implementation of restructuring Indonesian airspace into single FIR due to looking from the economically side, and also the condition that we have some burden, some potential hazard due to our topography condition, ladies and gentlemen. And we and we will not restructuring the Indonesian airspace into single FIR, and we'll stay with the established FIR right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanis, for great rebuttal. I will check your time. 7 minutes, 14 seconds. All right. And next, I will give the stage to the second speaker from government. Time is yours.
Okay, before countdown of timer, I would like to ensure that we are audible. Okay. Okay, firstly, before I go to before we go for our argument to support this motion and recommend this motion, I would like to give a rebuttal for first speaker from our opponent team. Okay, if you ask about the urgency, why we have to restructure two airspace into one or two aviary into one, is to, because our urgency, the prime goal is for increasing airspace capacity, safety, and maintain an orderly flow of air traffic, just like our ATS objective. And then in the economic side, okay, you have said that it will spend much cost, but it's only in the beginning. If we talk about the safety investment, we can only just look at the how expensive it is, but we have to look at the long term of this investment, especially it's about safety. So we believe that if we unify or combine two FIR into one, it will give us a more cheaper and more efficient for the long term of aviation safety. And the third point for rebut, you said about the environment status quo. ATS center now located in two locations, MATS, MATSC, and GATST. But the facility, one point that you forgot, even though the ATS center located in two locations, but SSR, or how to say it, secondary surveillance radar and extended range of radio are located in various environment over Indonesia. So it's not only located in both JATS or MATS. So the location of SSR heads and ER radio are located in various areas in Indonesia to accommodate the better safety of aviation. And then if we talk about the natural disaster, we cannot be naive that there's nowhere is safe. But if we look at the reality, JATS has been affected by earthquake, but still can survive till today because it's not about the earthquake itself, but it is about the building that can acceptable, that makes it more dangerous. I mean, the building has been made and has been designed very well to avoid or to handle the worst condition of natural disaster. Okay, and now the honorable adjudicators, comrades and opponents, here we go. We would like to propose two arguments of our of government. Okay, number one is a standby. How is it managed? How is it managed in the aspect of first, ITS route? So far, Indonesia has different characteristic of ITS route. I will give you example, just like Whiskey 16, that's a line from Sierra Bravo Romeo, and then Lasem, and then Madin. It is one route, but with two name, because it can be a domestic route, but in the other hand, it can be international route. And so far, if domestic airplane fly on that route, it should be flying in flight level 280 or below. So no, thank you. But for international aircraft, because it considered as Mach 766, so the international aircraft or international airplane can fly and can get the higher level for that. And then it means we have so many problems, and to save it and to make it clear, we have to restructuring the airspace into one. Okay, go ahead for POI. I will give you time.
Thank you for the affirmative side of the House. My question is, you said that the urgency is to increase airspace capacity. In what way are airspace capacity increased? By implementing or restructuring the Indonesian airspace into single FIR. Could you please explain us about this? Thank you.
Okay, that's POI. I will go straight to my second argument because it's having something to do with it. Okay, the second argument is about cost effective, it's not about, it's about the facility. Status quo, JETS and MATS have got different operating system because JETS operated by Comsol and then MATS operated by Top Sky, which has the gap between the effectiveness and how the operating system can manage the flow of air traffic over Indonesian FIR. If we restructuring the two FIR into one, absolutely we will use a single system that can accommodate for better future of aviation, especially in managing the aircraft flow over Indonesia. And then I go to the human resources. If we restructure the airspace into one, if we do not only talk about the restructuring of two airspace into one, but also it talk about how the people or how the personnel will be moved from, just like my first speaker has said, from MATS to JATS. So the control of the supervision from government can be more easier to control the flow of the controlling of FIR. Okay, and then in the cost effectiveness, we as government believe that it's more cheaper if we restructure into one, because because JETS and MATS has two facilities, it will bill us more cost for maintenance and then for infrastructure, for building, and how many tax we will pay. So we believe that if we restructure two FIR into one, it means all of them hold the facility and the personnel into one place, into one infrastructure. It will be better for us to spend the effective scopeness. That's why we as government strongly recommend the issue for better future of Indonesian aviation. Thank you.
Thank you, Makassar, for the great rebuttal. And next, I will give the chance to the opponent, second speaker. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for the change. Thank you for the second speaker of MATS. Here I will clarify about 3 points that I get from the second speaker. The first, the second speaker and the first speaker didn't explain what the urgency of making Indonesian airspace into the one FIR. We have no problem with the current condition. We have two FIR and the NSP, the air navigation service provider, run normally as long as we are here. And the point number 2 is the second speaker didn't answer our question how long it will take time. That we know that to make a FIR into the one into one, we face a difficult way where we must collaborate two systems that run differently so long. So the second speaker didn't explain that. And the number 3 is there is a safer place. There is a safer place. We didn't talk about MATS or Jakarta, but it could be have a safer place in Indonesia. And I will aid with the two point here. We have a unique topography. We are located at a junction of Asia and Australia that makes Indonesian airspace a cross of the traffic flow between these two big countries. Continents. So we are here have a possibility that Indonesia will be possibly become a bigger air navigation provider with two FIR. As the biggest archipelagic country in the world, the challenges of Indonesia airspace is geographical condition, which consists of more than 17,000 islands. Go ahead for POI.
Okay, you said that we are having a big traffic flow operating right now, right? But you said if it is if it is the increasement of the air traffic flow, meaning that you need to upgrade your system, right? But you define your system as a previous system which is beneficial to us. How could you define that?
At first, I explain you that the current condition we have 2 FIR. We never faced a problem, right? So for me, it is not a big problem. And let me continue with my argument. This geographic condition creates complexity for insurance deployment in infrastructure deployment in Indonesia, which leads to limited surveillance and communication coverage due to expensive deployment costs. To make a single FIR, we have need more money, and it is not a simple way. So for me, it is not a good way to restructure the Indonesian airspace into the one FIR. And the second, inadequate HR in the case of ATC. The restructuring or airspace into a single FIR requires the application of ATM contingency plane level 2, which means if we have a single FIR, we need to improve the lower level of air navigation system into the surveillance. We know that the current condition now, not all the TMA is surveillance system. There are too many non-radar, which mean we call it not procedural. In level 2 contingency, users may expect to fly within the affected airspace, but with limited ATS within specified contingency routes or simplified route network with the application of flight level allocation scheme. This required an improvement in lower level that I said before, seamless, and to have uniformity in terms of service, the surveillance, in order to improve the level of safety users. In this situation is airlines. And I get the fact that Jakarta FIR didn't have IDC, ATS interdata change that can increase the workload and mistaken of ATC in working or controlling. So I think we stay in with our argument that we didn't need restructuring of Indonesian airspace into a single one, because as far as we go, our FIR, our condition now with 2 FIR running with no big problem. So I think we stay with our argument, and it is important to you. I hope you get my points, and that's all for the second speaker of DPC Kupang.
Thank you. You still have 40 seconds. Would you like to add some arguments?
No thanks, man. No thanks, man.
Finish?
Yes, it finished.
Okay, thank you. I will check your time. All right. 6 minutes, 20 seconds. And thank you. Second speaker from opponent, you did your best. And I will give the stage to the third speaker from the government. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. First of all, I would like to give some rebuttal from the opposite argument. The opposite side team asked us about the urgency. What is the urgency of having a single FIR? But as my first speaker already told you, I will ask you back. What is the urgency in having 2 FIR? As we already said from the document ATS planning manual, The FIR normally encompass entire airspace over territory of a state. And if you want to establish more than one FIR, there's a reason. And the reason is not only about the size, but also first, average structure, extending over state, the topography, the cost effectiveness, and the facility management problem. All of my speakers already told the reason and why it is an urgency. We have to have a single FIR. And then the opponent team also asked about the time. The time is now, of course. We already improved our navigation service and going to be single FIR. What is the proof? The proof is the building and the facility already there in Jakarta. So we are going to have a single FIR. And then the opposite team also asking about the hazard or the risk of Jakarta being a single FIR place because the flood. But the opponent team also said the judge office located in Tangerang, not in Jakarta, where we know all the floods dangerously happen in Jakarta. And you didn't tell us the proof, the data, all the case that a judge is drawn or flooded, and it's affect the services there or the operating there being affected by that flood. And then the opponent team also explained about Jakarta that didn't have any ADC. Like, come on, we are all coordinate with Jakarta and they have ADC as long as it's much. And then the second speaker also explained about the contingency plan. Today's contingency plan is about when MATS shutdown or degraded, the other terminal or approach will continues the service up to flight level 280. So it's already there's a contingency plan. So if you're asking about the urgency, all our team already explained how and what is the factor. Now I will continue my argument. My argument is about the deep analysis or the advantages of having a single FIR. I will tell about the study or learn from Martin Dai of University of Dar es Salaam. The title of the research or the study is about establishing of an East African Community unified FIR. There's some advantages of having a united or combined FIR, such as synergy, economic scale, low operation cost, and efficiency. I will tell you first about the synergy. The synergy, it's mean the economic concept which explain overall advantage. Then in terms of efficiency, economy of scale, revenue, cost reduction, technology, human capital, and skill. And next is economic scale. The economic concept that explains the cost advantage gained by larger scale production due to the fact that fixed cost is spread over a larger number of goods. In this scale, it's based on air navigation services related to the size of airspace. And then for the low operation cost, it could lower the charge for the user. Why? Because the user can use the shortest route, so they can pay cheaper, and it expect in the long term it could lower ticket price and increase travel benefit. And then for the efficiency, it's eliminate duplication of effort and resources, especially those associated with establishing, maintaining, and running an ACC. It's reduced workload among controllers due to reducing the need for coordinating between SCC. I also will tell you about the benefit of having a combined FIR from the study from the Journal Aerospace Technology Management in December 2020 by Anna Motka and Eric Topman Nyoya. It's about a single European sky. There's some factor that will give. Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Thank you, in the House. Can you prove us or give us data or a fact that you want to restructure us the Indonesian airspace, right, into single FIR? Can you prove to us that we have an educated resources and then the facilities to implement? Do you hear me?
May I interrupt it? Already azan time, or I will pause the time for a while.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, since we hear the action time, we will pause or break for a while so that the debate can be run well. Thank you. And I just want to remind to the third speaker from the opponent, Kupang, after you give your statement, the third statement, don't please be noticed that don't directly continue to the conclusion. Give the moderator time to avoid to give you states for the conclusion so that it would be avoid the confusion.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Do you mean by the conclusion is the role of the the role of the reply speaker or the conclusion that derived from the third speaker itself?
No problem, the first or the second, the third, but give the moderator time to state to the audience that it's for it's conclusion time.
Okay,
Don't directly.
All right. So you mean this after the third speaker speaking or stating their the arguments, give time for the moderator to give the reply speaker, because our reply speaker in this team is different from the third speaker. I mean, I'm the reply speaker and he's the only the third speaker. I'm the first and the reply speaker in this team. Thank you.
Thank you. How about timekeeper? Could we continue or what?
Stand for a while. How the azan is happened at Mats, right? Makassar? Still running. Okay, please inform us when it's already end for the azan.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Formats, could you inform us if we can start maybe through the WhatsApp or the chat box? We will.
Azan is done. Let's continue.
All right, thank you. My simple question is, how can you prove us that we have an adequate human resources and system or the equipment to make the plan of restructuring Indonesian airspace into one FIR become reality? Thank you.
Yes, of course. For improving the system, we already have the system. Then if we can connect both systems, we can give or we can improve the seamless service. Because today we have different system, so there's a possibility, there's the degradation or the decrease of the safety between Mats and Jets. Okay, then I will continue my speech. Another study or the research give us some point that will be get if we combine some airwire into a single airwire. The points such as flight efficiency and free route airspace and capacity and delay. And for the flight efficiency, it could give the flight shortest route between 2 points, and it could avoid military and higher en route charge. The goal is to reducing the extension of the route flight by the aircraft. And then for the free route airspace, it's planned the aircraft or the user can play where's the entry and exit point without use the LS route network. So it could cause shortest route, less fuel, less carbon emission, and it could saving the fuel usage and also saving. Okay, so the conclusion is we really support our motion, and by the research also explain the advantage in the long term of combined FIR. So I'm really proud to propose. Thank you.
Thank you, Makassar, for great argument, great rebuttal. And next, we will move to the, hold on, I will check the time. Yes, you spent 7 minutes, 17 seconds. And the next steps, we will move forward to the third speaker from the opponent. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for this beautiful opportunity for me. Imade Pramata, as a top speaker of Kupang, we do still believe that we don't need to make a single provider in our country. As Makassar said, if the reason is urgency that we need to do safety, what kind of safety you talking about? I mean, how did you know that if we make a single provider, it will be increase our safety? So by that statement, I want to ask you, with this position now, with our condition country now with 2 FIR, is this not safety for us to make it to make a separate FIR between judge and match? You guys talking about safety. What kind of safety you talking about? I mean, if we talk about safety, no, I just started step right. Can you please just wait for a second, please? Okay, there is my first argument. I mean, what kind of safety you talk about? And then the second one, if we talk about the FIR, you said that we need to make a single FIR. I mean, do we have any research or any research from a government side or international community or other that should have telling us as a Indonesia with the biggest this country that we need to make a simple FIR with by the single FIR? I mean, can you please just give us the result? I mean, the result or anything that you found that we have to make a single FIR. This is my second questions. And the third one, I'm going to the equipment. The Makassar team said that our equipment can range almost all our airspace in Indonesia. I mean, you have a SSR, ER. I mean, I'm here in Atambua. Here we just controlled by 2 officers and then 1 technician. Here there is a 1 ER match who is installed in the mountain, which is a bit far from our job. I mean, by that condition, but by this situation, with only 1 technician, if something happened in the middle of the night, and then that's already happened before, there is only 1 technician here. Then Makassar technician is only make a just wait. It's not done yet. Makassar technician is only make a call like can you please check to the mountain? Our ER is off. Our ER is shut down. We cannot make a communication with the pilot. I mean, how that it can be safe if you don't put some technician here? Just only 1 ER in our border city here. I mean, it doesn't make sense for us. And then the next one is, if you want to make a single FIR, of course, it's gonna be increase another sector between ACC and APP. I mean, can you please telling us how it's gonna work if the single FIR can be make it? Okay, go ahead. Okay.
I just would like to make it clear. I think you have some misperception. If you talk about FIR, we talk about only 2 sectors. They are area control service and FIC or Flight Information Service. So approach and tower is not the part of this topic. I mean, just like that. Because if we talk about FI, only two units will be affected. SAC and FIC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the POA. My answer is if you guys make it single FIR, of course it's gonna be affected to the other sector. I do believe it, and we do believe it. If you make it single, then you will change everything. Even in the ACC, the upper and the lower, of course it's gonna be changed, and then it's gonna be separate between what they have already done before and what is the next for. That's what I mean about the increase the another sector in our FIR if it happened by single FIR. And then I will continue to my argument about the equipment. If we talk about the equipment, so if you make it to the single FIR, then you have to make sure that the equipment is really in the good condition. How did you know the equipment in the good condition if you don't put some personnel or some technician there to control the equipment, to maintenance, to do everything? I mean, something can happen every time and everything. And then it's going to be connected also with the disaster. If we make it to the one, and then like you said before, the disaster can come by earthquake, flood, or everything. If we talk about disaster, it's not about the earthquake. It can about it's also happen if like in Jakarta we know also the traffic jam. The traffic jam is also be a trait of us to do as a controller to go into our place to do a job. I mean, the disaster is not only by the meteorological and the NPP data. We talk about also about the war, about the demonstration and everything. And if you talk about the meteorological condition of like earthquake or flood, okay, if our working place is still in a good condition, what about our officer? If something happened with our officer, like a ATC personnel, I mean their house, their living house, how about they're dying? Oh, sorry. Okay, thank you. I'm not finished.
You still have 20 minutes grace period. Sorry, 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Okay, I mean with these two single provider, if this already safety, why do we need to make it a single FIR? Then why we don't need to improve our two?
Time is up.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes, thank you, third speaker, for the natural and spontaneous rebuttal. And next, let me remind you, for the conclusion, we will give 4 minutes and to 20 seconds for the grace period. So the total time is 4 minutes, 20 seconds. I will give the stage for the opponent to state their conclusion. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. Me as the reply speaker will give the summary of this debate that is going on. So first of all, we talk about.
Hold on. We will wait after the azan. We will pause. Yes. Please inform us if we can start. And I will inform for the third speaker from Kupang, you spent 7 minutes, 35 seconds.
Okay, time is yours.
Shall we start it? All right. Yes, go ahead.
All right. Thank you for the time. Yes, the reply speaker of the affirmative, opposition team will give you some summary about our debate today. As the first speaker of the government side of the house has clearly defined the motion and put the limitation, and we as the opposition team as well have already asked about the SMART goals, which is the timely manner that they need to divide, that they need to put in order to implement the proposed ideas, which is restructuring Indonesian airspace into one or single FIR. First of all, they didn't give us the specific time to achieve the idea that they create to restructurize our Indonesian airspace into single FIR. And then the urgency, they said that it will increase the airspace capacity, and they asked about what's the urgency of us to establish to FIR only. For the record, ladies and gentlemen, we already established 2 FIR, and we will stay with the 2 FIR itself. And then they don't give a clear explanation about what did they mean in increasing airspace capacity with only single FIR. And then they always said about cost effectivity. We eventually believe that the cost effectivity will resulted in this idea, but ladies and gentlemen, we still need the fund. We still need a huge effort, which consists of money and the equipment installed to establish only single FIR. They failed to cover this issue, which is the cost that we need to implement single FIR itself, ladies and gentlemen. And then we should acknowledge that with only one center, we will make it very effective in terms of cost. But to make one, we will need a huge effort, which consists of the human resources itself, equipment, and other stakeholders support, which is this cost a very huge amount of money. And also, we as the negative side of the house already told that we as a navigation service provider should have 3 aspects to complete to run properly, which is communication, navigation, and surveillance. And if we fail one another, we will create a hazard this is the threat that we will face if implementing the single FIR itself. And then if we to plan and implement something, we should consider the threat to avoid creating catastrophe in aviation industry, which is their urgency is to make it efficient and improving the airspace capacity. But what if they fail to give us the way how we facing the challenges. And then about the unique topography. This geographical condition of Indonesia creates complexity for infrastructure deployment in Indonesia, which leads to limited surveillance, ladies and gentlemen, which if we like the surveillance aspect for ANSP, it will become a catastrophe for us, for the ANSP itself, and it will bring a bad reputation for Indonesia, our country. And the communication coverage will like also due to expensive deployment costs, which we have now limit to none due to 2 years of pandemic. So we are against the motion. We will stay only with 2 FIR today. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanis, for the great conclusion. And I will check 4 minutes, 8 seconds. And next, let's move forward to Government House. I will give the stage to you for the conclusion. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the chance. I'm here as the last speaker of request speaker would conclude what is actually we are debating today, ladies and gentlemen. What we are debating today is restructuring of Indonesia's airspace into a single flight information region. We are here as a government already told you about why and how it will be implemented, ladies and gentlemen. For example, our first speaker already told you about our topography. This is the problem is why, because we have so many problems, right? But we already solved it by the data, and also we already shows you. My test speaker also already have a deep analysis about that we already implement this kind of console in Jakarta. So it means that if they think that our topography is connected to another places like Atambua or another places such as outside of Jakarta or Mat, I think it's nonsense for them to say that, ladies and gentlemen. And then we already said also about why and how in the terms of aspect of how it is managed, ladies and gentlemen, about the airways, about the facility, and also about the human resources. Now, let me give you why they were mistake that they are actually given to us. The data is nonsense, and also the topic that we are talking about today is not really connected to them to say that. First, if they say about the urgency, if not now, when, ladies and gentlemen? If not now, when? For your information, for the records, we already have 5 flight information region at the past, ladies and gentlemen. We don't need to talk about how it is problem, how about, so it means that you want to keep the 2 FIR only. How about the past time? How about we have 5 flight information out of flight information in the past, ladies and gentlemen. So it means that it's nonsense for them to stay into flight information region, ladies and gentlemen. And then if they said that, how about the increasement of the aircraft capacity, ladies and gentlemen? My second speaker already told you about the airways, ladies and gentlemen. There are so many different characteristics of the airways merged into one. So if it is we make this into one flight information region, it means the airways will be better, ladies and gentlemen. For the record, we have already in the third phase of managing the airways of PBN route and the R&D plan, ladies and gentlemen. And then if they said there is no research at all about what is the implementation, what is the benefit of the first implementation of the single flight information region, my third speaker already give you much deep analysis of the research of another countries that apply the one flight information. I don't think that I need to explain it more. And then the third speaker of the opposition team does not even give us a clear things about this debate, ladies and gentlemen. All the data that is given by third speaker opposition team is not even correlated to this debate, ladies and gentlemen. If they said the Atambua will affect it by this single flight information, there is no such things that will affect it Atambua, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about JATS and MATS and the flight information region, ladies and gentlemen. And then the equipment, if they said the equipment, no effect of it is no effect, ladies and gentlemen, to maintain our equipment outside of flight information region, ladies and gentlemen. And then also, if they are talking about the disaster, ladies and gentlemen, that we does not have any plan, we already told you in our second speaker, we do have already the contingency plan document, ladies and gentlemen, that is explained by our third speaker. I think we don't need to explain that about that kind of contingency plan. And also, one thing that they miss is, ladies and gentlemen, the data about the system or the facility, ladies and gentlemen. They said as the opposition team, Jakarta does not AIDC, while actually Jakarta already has an AIDC, ladies and gentlemen. So it means that the difference is only the facility of Jakarta is lower than MRTSC, ladies and gentlemen. So it means that all the data and all the statement that is given by the opposition team is irrelevant with this topic today, ladies. We believe that we propose single flight information region is better for Indonesia. Thank you.
Time is up. Thank you so much for both teams. Let's cheers up yourself by give huge applause. Thank you so much. You did great job today. And let's hear the comment from our beautiful adjudicators. The first is, I will give the stage to Miss Ferranti. Miss Ferranti, are you there? Hello, Miss Ferranti.
Hello.
Okay. Yes, time is yours.
Am I audible? Can you see me already?
Yes.
Okay. Hello. Wow, that's quite a debate because it is always debatable whether we need to restructure our airspace into one FIR or we should keep it as it is. Congratulations to Makassar and Kupang for making to the semifinals, and you are great. You both make good preparations. Mats already provide reference to IQ documents, IQ annexes, and also provide parameters in establishing the FIRs, considerations to be taken. And also Kupang put good arguments on economic side and how we shall consider the threats. And maybe you can add another justifications that how the cost, both safety and economics, may be higher than the benefits in combining in single FIR. And you may also put some kind of examples from other states practice currently, why they don't need to provide in single FIR. That's just some points to be considered. And for maths, I saw that you tried to explain the operational explanations in addition to the IQ references, and maybe you should try more to explain why in operational aspects it is better to combine the one FIR. I also take notes that you didn't provide clear explanation how it may add your airspace capacity. But overall, the discussion has been very good. And yeah, like the first session of the semifinals, when you have so many thoughts, so many arguments in your minds, and you want to quickly deliver it to your opponent, sometimes we miss something we already know actually from the beginning. We should say, not more cheaper, just cheaper without more. Input saving, it shall be input save. And what if these two FIRs are already safe instead of if these two FIR already safety? And also we already, both of you must know that the name of the FIR is not Mats or Jats, but it is Ujung Pandang FIR and Jakarta FIR. But both of you said that it is Mats and Jats FIR. You make good eye contact to all the teams, but I also take notes from some of you still flipping your notebooks. So less eye contact are made to the opponent. And for the closing, both of you provide good resume, how the other teams argued and how you explain to the arguments, and also both of you provide resume of the debate. So it is quite difficult to put points in all the aspects to be scored. So I still wish the best for all of you, and thank you for this nice debate. It is also a great opportunity for me as an educator to learn from all of the teams. Thank you, Miss Moderator.
Ganti. And let's move forward to the next adjudicator, Miss Dwi Lestari. Time is yours.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the team and also the moderator right now, Ms. Linda, for helping us in the process. And again, for all the debaters, all of you have been amazing performance. Yeah, so I'm sure right now the other adjudicators here are also enough difficulty in judging, for sure. Yeah. Okay, here a few correction and advice from me. The first one for maths, yeah. Here I see. Okay. Brief explanation of maths at opening. Yeah, it was great opening from the first speaker, and also for Upang, the class team. It was also incredible to see how the opposition team argue, such how they were knowing exactly what the audience needed. Yeah, and overall, both of the team can answer and explain POI very well. And then the second one for the content. I think this is a very critical point, yeah, and that's very good for second match in this morning. Each of you have a good presentation of the material, but it should be for pros team to provide international regulation. For example, in Annex 11, we can see it states shall be delineated to cover where is the airspace obligation to single aviar. Yeah, that's a very, very important point for you as a pros team. And for rebuttal, yeah, both of the team can run and understand well about the POI, yeah, sorry. That's also a good thing here. And for the language, your English are also easy to understand by the audience, actually me, yeah. And then here, do not repeat words, yeah, impress like difficulty in vocabulary. And then for delivery, both of the team are very good. But for the first speaker from Cons team, actually you were doing a great in argument, intonation, and others, yeah. But for eye contact, yeah, too much movement on eye contact, not straight ahead. I mean, but it only needs like a small fix. Then if you are possible to final round, yeah. And then what else? Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. For also the point for superior sentences, you can give a little differences in intonation. Yeah. And then the closing statement here. The closing statement, not really. Closing in substantive speech is a little bloating. Yeah, we can say like slightly floating words, but it's okay. It's good enough. And then overall, for closing statement from both of first speakers are very good and explain enough entirely. Yeah, I think it's enough, Ms. Linda. Thank you, Mats and Kupang. I enjoy this debate competition, really. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tari. And next, we will move forward to the third adjudicator, Naina. Yes, Naina, time is yours.
Okay, hello, it's me again. Congratulations to both teams. You did a very good job. And I think, well, the topic itself, the restructuring of Indonesian airspace, it's kind of big and very big contest topic because it requires a lot of time to make the research. And I don't know how much time you had to prepare for it. But if it really happens in the real time, it requires some very big research on it because it requires, well, it depends on the very factors, including the safety and efficiency way, right? Including the geographical features of Indonesia, the economical side, the navigation aids, and the human workforces, facilities. So when I give a points, I really didn't focus on the topic itself. I just kind of just focused on the persuasion of your teams, that how you deliver the speech, how you just give the statement to the audience. So first is overall, your statement was good. You provided plenty of evidence and the data and the statistics to support your idea. That was a very good point. Also, you accepted the POI without any reluctance. That makes the debate more competitive and more accepting and friendly. That was a very good aspect. And the next is for the coupon team. Yeah, also the statement was very persuasive. And also especially I would like to highlight the honeys. You did a very good opening speech. It really grabbed my attention there. And also your fluency and the pronunciation. Yeah, that was something I was very impressed. Congratulations there. And yeah, I think that's all the comment I got because both teams did a very good job. And a bit about the topic, as I say, this restructuring of airspace research. And I Googled that the Indonesian airspace, well, the territory itself is like 1.9 million square kilometers, right? Which is a bit larger than Mongolia. Mongolia is like 1.6 square kilometers in the perspective of territory. And we actually have a single flight information region that it's divided into the two parts, Western and Eastern. But the facilitators and the flight information officers work at the one facility. Yeah, just off the topic, but to give a more side information. And one more advice I would like to give the both teams is that I think I'm not sure who's gonna go to the final, but one more thing is that please just giving more attention to your background noise. If there is an excess noise, it might be a bit uncomfortable for the audience and also to the other team. So I hear some echo and also background noise. So if you go to the final tomorrow, just please give attention to that side. Yeah, that's the only thing I have to say. Good luck.
Thank you, Naina, for the great comment. And now is the time, since I got the score from the adjudicators. How do we say? Because it's hard. I believe it's hard for all the adjudicators to decide who is the winner. And actually, both of you are equal. And I should announce, where is timekeeper? Should
Here.
I announce now? Should I announce?
Okay, you may. Good luck. Don't be so nervous. Just take your time.
Okay. Anyway, I have the total score from the adjudicators, and for Makassar, you got 90. Give applause to Makassar. And the next is, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Anyway, I should collect the 3 evaluation sheet from the adjudicators and divide it into 3 so that I got the average. And for Kupang, you got the average score 90.3, only 0.3. So the winner is Kupang. Give applause to Kupang. Congratulations, Kupang. Thank you, Makassar. You did great job.
Congratulations, Kupang.
It should be you guys. Thank you so much. It should be you.
Unbelievable.
Okay, since our time is up and we got the winner, and I want to ask all of you to turn on your camera. We will take a screenshot. Thank you. For the host, Gilang, could you split the screen? Hello, Mas Gilang.
Excuse me?
Yes, we will take the screenshot. Could you set the screen to the gallery? Yes. Okay. I can see now. Could you turn on your video, Mas Gilang, or who is the official? Yes, let's take a screenshot. 3, 2, 1, cheers. Okay, thanks everyone. Stay healthy to all of you, and thanks for your great effort for today. We will meet again tomorrow on final match. Stay healthy and goodbye. Thank you. Bravo, Iatca.
Thank you, congrats.
Bye.
Thank you, Naina.
Yes, thank you, Naina.
Yeah.
My big
Thank
thanks
you,
for
Naina.
Mrs. Naina coming from far
Thank
away.
you. Yeah, it's not only to promote in English, it's a very good way to attract the ATC's attention to the certain topic. That's a very good point of to have this kind of debate. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye,
Naina.
Naina.
And my big thanks for Mr. Ferranti and Miss Tari, Miss Linda. Great job for today.
Oh, today is amazing.
Makassar sama Kupangnya udah nggak ada kan di sini?
Udah nggak ada, udah di-kick semua.
We're still live on YouTube, guys.
Oh, masih? Tolong di-cut.
Oke.
Saya stop dulu deh YouTube-nya.